Hey guys, this is Kuze with CESN bringing you a game today between TTOne playing the Protoss and ST July playing Zerg. I am here with my co-host Octopus Rum,
Whoa,
and
whoa.
and yeah. So before these guys get their game set up and going, mention a couple of things they always do. CESNreplays at gmail.com. If you got replays, send them to us. We will cast them if they are good. And if you are looking to cast some stuff and make some coin doing it potentially, you can send us an email at cesncaster at gmail.com. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right into the action. Um, what map are we on today, Octopus?
Today we are on Xel'naga Caverns in this matchup versus TT1 in July. July Zerg is one of the more famous Starcraft 2 players of all time. He's pretty much a badass. TT1 is also pretty much a badass. And here we're on Xel'naga Caverns. Pretty standard map overall. It's got those nice naturals. It's got that weird third and the high yield with destructible rocks. A couple Xel'naga towers, and yeah, it's pretty great overall. Pretty common map these days.
Yeah, and I would say that you can disagree with me if you want, but this is one of those maps where holding down the middle is pretty important. If you can hold that middle effectively, you can use those high yields, and if you can't hold it effectively and you try to expand, you're in really deep crap.
Yes, you will have some serious issues if you cannot hold your high yield in the mid to late game.
Yeah,
That
and
is
well, my
certainly
point
true.
is that all the action goes through the middle. So pretty much for this map because there's only two spawn points, and Anyway, got
Yeah,
gas up
well,
now from July, and he's got about 15. Both players pretty much even. TT1 getting some scouting done. Don't know, July hasn't quite gotten there yet, but he's got that Overlord heading over there. So, yep, got a Gateway coming up, and gas down. TT1 gas before Gateway, which is actually interesting, but you know, otherwise nothing too crazy.
yeah. Looks like July Zerg's not going to go for an early Expo build, which is pretty common on this map given the pretty long rush distance. Looks like he's just going to go for speedlings early. And TT1 here throwing down the side core and a second gas. So my guess would be he's either going for a really heavy sentry play or some kind of weird tech build like starports or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the second gas. Maybe he go, I don't know, Immortals or something like that to try and deal with, or Colossi even. We've seen that so often these days with Protoss players. Colossus always a good bet. And we see July expanding now. So, I mean, it's not as quick as we're used to, but it's certainly not a late expansion by any means.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got it before 20 supply, so it's certainly an early expo, but it's not those crazy early, like 14, 16 hatches that we're sort of used to from players like Hydra. But we do see him chrono boosting out as a Zealot, actually, which is kind of weird, and going with a Sentry after that. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of Sentries here from TT1, whereas July Zerg is continuing to get that gas. Or no, he actually took his workers off gas. It's a very classic move. They'll get 100 gas for that Zergling speed and then move their workers back to minerals as they get up their next expo.
Yep, and we see actually TT1 going ahead and getting two more gateways. So be interesting to see. Normally after three gateways, we see some sort of tech, and he's got a pylon behind his mineral line. I wouldn't be too surprised rather, if he sort of hides his tech behind his wall here. He's got a pretty decent wall, by the way. Nice zealot sentry. He's going to make it difficult for July to get back there and get to that mineral line.
Yeah, it looks like July sent out a couple early lings here to scout at the front of TT1's base, but he's not going to get any info there.
Yeah,
That
I
sentry's
mean
going to warm up pretty
that's
easily,
a really
but he's
nice
going to
wall.
send in this
So
sack. It looks like he's going to send in this Overlord instead to try and get some vision on this 3-gate build. And 3-gate with this much gas, I'm actually really interested to see what he does with this. 3-gate is a pretty standard opener for Protoss, but because it has so many different variants you can go. But it looks like this Overlord's going to get taken down by these sentries pretty quick, and he's going to go. Oh, it looks like he was going to try and drop that pylon on the low ground, although he did get blocked by those Ling, so it looked like he was going to try and go for an early expo there of some kind.
I see him
As
warping in three more sentries here and going ahead and grabbing that expo. Um, and those Zerglings pretty much beat off by the Sentry Zealot combo. And still waiting for some tech here from TT1. Meanwhile, over at July's base, we see him pretty much going straight lings, as you said, Rum. There's got a Roach one coming down now, actually. But other than that, and getting gas too, so he's probably going to transfer into Roaches, maybe Hydras.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for roaches now. He still has, and he's just starting to get that layer tech too. So we'll see what kind of upgrades he's going for. If he's going for a mass roach build, or if he's going for some sort of roach ling or roach hydra mix. Um, but yeah, we see actually TT1 here pushing out with a pretty good force of sentries and stalkers, trying to get control of these Xel'nagas. Always really critical to control this middle of the map.
Yeah.
In every matchup and in every map.
He's got he's got 5 stalkers actually. Got a couple more coming down to back him up, and 6 sentries and a zealot. It's a much bigger force at this point than July has. Only 12 zerglings, and particularly with those sentries, it's gonna be difficult for those zerglings to get the surround that they so desperately need to win a battle like this.
Yep, and it looks like Julyzer's going to throw down the Galileo reconstruction, so he is definitely going to go for some large roach plays. He's getting some roaches here. Going to break down his destructible rocks actually in the back here, so it looks like he's going to not go for the high yield early and instead going to go for this sort of low ground third expo.
And it's a safer bet, it really is, honestly. We've seen so many games where a player charges into that middle, trying and grabbing that high yield, and it immediately gets found, destroyed. He loses some probes, and the game is pretty much over. So it's a safe play from July. It's, you know, nothing too excessive, and he knows at this point that his army comp is a little bit smaller probably because of his early expo, as opposed to TT1, who just went straight for some army comp there. We see him bring down a forge, and we still haven't seen him use that early gas he had for any tech, which is interesting. You would expect him to have, you know, a starport or a robo or something, but nothing so far. We see these zerglings getting bigger behind the mineral line. Not going to do too much, but they did scout out what's there, seeing that forge. And see a photon cannon coming down. And here's that robotics facility actually. It's going to be in the low ground behind that natural. And I would assume he's going to probably get an observer out of it. Yep. And maybe a mortal, and then into Colossi if this Roach Zergling build stays the same as Colossi. Just tear through them.
Yeah, it looks like, well, actually, Immortals are much more effective against Roaches than Colossi, but it looks like he's going to start getting his +1 for his ground units, and he's still chrono boosting pretty much exclusively his workers, so actually dead even on the worker supply, which is something you don't often see, especially with a Zerg really expanding like this.
Yeah, we see July moving into that third expansion now, and he's got it up and almost running. It wouldn't be. He's got the drones coming over, getting it saturated as quick as he can. It's going to give him I want to see an observer as well coming in from July. It's got to be said that's sort of like sacking an observer. I'm not. Oh wow, dropping down a changeling actually, which is funny. Yeah, a pretty good play for him. He got a lot of scouting done there. Saw that robo facility, which is very important for him. So, see another gateway coming down for TT1, but both players just macroing up pretty much at this point. TT1 just sort of making sure there's no expansions up near him or anything crazy like that. And we see this OBS flying around. Don't know, he did see that third expansion actually, so he knows it's there. Wouldn't be too surprised if we see him move towards it quickly now.
No, it looks like he's going to grab his own third, although July did scout that. And it looks like he actually has got a ton of Hydralisks at this point. He did get Hydra range upgrade, and it looks like he's going for missile attacks level 1 as well. So it looks like he's going for a Roach Hydra mix here with some Lings thrown in on the side. So he is actually going to try and take this high yield now as TT1 secures his third. But both players playing pretty passively at this point, although we do have some Stalkers coming in, engaging some Roaches and Hydras here in the middle, and it looks like both forces are just going to pull back once again.
Yeah, and I mean, we see a robo facility.
Although maybe not,
down.
actually.
Yeah, they're attacking this.
Coming down.
They're attacking
right,
this
and
third
try and
expansion.
snipe this Nexus.
But we see the robo facility now pumping out Colossi, as I mentioned. So we'll see how effective those are. Very good against Hydralisks, for sure. And we see an Immortal in here in this unit comp. So it's going to make sure that he's got TT1 doing a good job making sure he's got a diverse army that can deal with this diverse army of July. Because if you just went Stalkers right now, you'd be torn to shreds. And you got to make sure whenever you fight against a Zerg or anybody for that matter that you have the right counters for it. And that's what really separates people from, you know, in Gold Division from like Platinum or Diamond Division, is being able to get yourself the army comp you need to deal with whatever your opponent's throwing at you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and that's a really good contaminate there, actually thrown down by that Overseer, delaying those Colossus by about 30 seconds. So that's actually a really clutch play there by July, as that's going to give him just a little bit more time to get out the Mutalisks that he needs to snipe those Colossi. And it looks like he might be trying to put some more